You'll actually come up with some amazing discoveries.
Hi, welcome to our interview with author David Brier. I'm your host, Lori Crever. David's with us today to talk about his book, Defying Gravity and Rising Above the Noise. David, thank you for joining us.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Lori.
This is a really key lesson, though, that I don't want to lose, that you are working with your clients to somehow get them to step into the shoes of their consumer.
Yes.
And really experience the product and the brand from that angle, which is really hard if it's your baby, your product, right?
Totally.
Okay, so tell us more about Legacy Chocolates. What were the discoveries that you made?
Well, the discoveries were, one, basically anything that I can have that's an American food, if I now make it look or sound European, it automatically will increase in perceived value immediately.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, and there's a whole story, which I do cover in here, the actual history of Häagen-Dazs.
Häagen-Dazs. It's not from Denmark or
no,
Copenhagen?
No, it's actually.
Are you sure?
It was Russian immigrants, 1959 in the Bronx. But that's covered in the book. You'll find out about that and what he did. It totally, and the rest is history.
How can people get your book?
Oh, well, very simple. They need to go to risingabovethe.noise.com,
okay,
and they go to the book link, and they will see at the bottom there, there's the actual store that they could just buy right from there.
Okay, wonderful.
Very simple.
Back to the chocolate.
So back to the chocolate. So we observed this with regard to the European qualities. We noted the fact that the majority of the consumers were women.
Okay.
And women love details. Mm-hmm. Women are the greatest consumers in the world. And if you're lucky enough to have a product that can really appeal to a female consumer, that's fabulous. Celebrate that and embrace it, because it's an incredible opportunity. Women do something that men are genetically, I think, incapable of doing.
Oh, no.
They actually will excitedly talk about a product and basically create a spontaneous infomercial with their girlfriends.
Oh.
Absolutely.
A friend of mine, I'm not going to name names, but she is a master gardener, a tap dancer, and a homicide detective for the city of Minneapolis. And she said,
that is one heck of a combination. That's amazing.
To all of us.
The whole concept of tiptoeing through the tulips has a whole new dimension all of a sudden.
Holster. So she sent out, this is just in the last week, an email to all of her buddies saying, hey, I got this new product for hair removal, right? For your legs, etc. And you should try it. It really works. It's not fake advertising. And so you're right. As women, we all wrote her back, thanks, what a good tip. I'm going to check it out. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Talk, talk, talk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what women do. It's fabulous. So our goal was, we wanted a box that was so attractive and good and sturdy, but attractive, that when the box was brought home or given as a gift and it was empty, that it would basically, the idea of even throwing it away would cause almost an involuntary spasm. Mm-hmm. That it would be just, I can't do it. I can't break myself away from this. And we have found more of these boxes in homes after the fact, because they become recipe boxes, or they become notes, or whatever.
Mementos.
All varieties.
Love letters from during the war.
Exactly.
Really anything.
I know. I'm sorry. I had a moment for a second there.
But that is true about women.
Yes.
I know I've got this special vat of unique shopping bags.
Yeah.
For instance, there's some incredible stores in Las Vegas. I mean, just the bag, I think, what you said, I could never throw this out. Yeah. I've got to reuse this bag somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird, but
it's
sort of
like a moral responsibility.
Right, but you know what? More to what we're speaking to.
Yeah.
Good for the brand.
Completely,
I mean, because that costs
brand.
more money than an expensive box or bag.
That's correct.
Okay, good.
And so what happened with this was, so we had those various observations. We observed certain trends with regard to food magazines, celebrity chefs, food networks, different things. So we took all of these little trends, put it together, and redesigned the entire box. Plus, no other box up till that point, and I frankly have not seen any since, they all went, now having worked with Estee Lauder, having worked with Revlon, I know that there's a whole sort of cosmetic mentality. Let's make something look gorgeous and have an aura of beauty, but communicate nothing.
Yeah.
It's almost like a mysterious package. It's like, what's in it? You know, that's like the sort of cosmetic model. And many boutique chocolatiers would follow that model. Yeah. And so you go, well, I don't know what's in it. It looks gorgeous and feels cool, but well, we decided to actually have all kinds of neat little sound bites on this. Well, what happened was, and before I tell you the result, what occurred was there were no new flavors. There were no change in hours, no new personnel, no new signage, no new offerings.
Right, not
nothing.
Like they opened up 10 new stores.
Nope, no change in pricing, no specials, no promo, nothing. Nothing changed. And it was in the middle of the summer, which is the down season for chocolate globally.
Right.
So June, this comes out, and at the end of June, I go to the owner and I say, so, Mike, how'd it do? He says, sales of truffles tripled. 300%.
Wow.
3x over the prior month. And I was like, wow, it's fabulous. That's amazing. And the only difference is this box was on the back counter. That's all. That was it. Okay? I come back in July. How did it do? Sales of July exceeded June. Awesome. Then I asked him about the end of August. How did that do? And he said, sales of August not only exceeded July, they exceeded February.
And Valentine's Day, that would be
that's
right?
the top month for every chocolatier
yeah.
anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And so that showed the power, because he was wondering, you know, do I lower price to, you know, increase volume? Da, 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 da. He was looking at that, which I cover. Price is not the reason why consumers. I mean, you do have a certain demographic that's only going to be driven by price, but price is, you have value and you have price, and if price is really important, the perceived value is low.
Right. You are not maybe doing your job
as the business.
Product.
If you're not. You need to really create, what's the dream? What's that aspiration? What's the thing that gets that person, that business, that company, that consumer to go, oh, I want that.
I want that, and I will accept nothing else.
Yeah.
Well, I must say, I love this box for Legacy Chocolates, and it's for some with the detail. And I was thinking too that your firm accomplished a sort of incongruency, because this box, it's a playful encyclopedia.
Yes.
It gives so much good understanding about chocolate, but it's a really fun read. It makes me laugh out loud.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, it was a blast to do. It was a lot of fun to do, and you're right. But at the same time, it made the buyer the hero.
Yeah.
You could walk in last minute, 20 minutes before a party, and walk into that party. I got this for you.
Yeah.
And you're the hero.
Yeah.
And so, you know.
Well, I've sent it as gifts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wonderful, and it's a great read. Well, let's shift gears a little bit to something that I think would be even more challenging than helping somebody who's producing and selling chocolate.
Okay.
You had a burger guy come to you with his live stream, and he wanted to fuse his live stream of burgers and cheeseburgers with trains. Let's talk about that. This to me just would seem impossible.
It pretty much, well.
Because there's no place in the Midwest to get a burger or a cheeseburger. There's
yeah,
no
I know.
place at all.
I know. It's a desert. It's a desert. You know, no cheese, no cows, nothing. Nothing. Everything. Any of your viewers, anything they've heard about the Midwest, about there being cows and cheese, false. Complete. It's a desert. It's a wasteland. Nothing. You know, all there is to eat is sushi, sushi, sushi. No.
And chocolate.
And chocolate.
And chocolate.
It was an interesting challenge, because here's this 64-year-old retired gentleman, and he goes, you know, I've always wanted to do this. And so, you know, he has this great idea, you know, so Don comes up with this idea, and he's going to have it. Now, it's on a street called Bridge Street, so he's calling it Bridge Street Station.
It's going to be a restaurant, right, or a cafe, a diner?
No, it's going to walk in and take out. And, you know, the interior was awesomely designed. Literally, when you walked in, behind the counter, it looked like the side of a train, and the window that would have been the passenger window is the actual window to the kitchen. So I mean, the whole thing was really cool. It was a very cool thing. Now, but my problem was this: what's going to get people in the Midwest to care about one more burger joint?
Right.
That was my problem. It's like, how am I going to achieve that? And so, I had to look at this and had to look at the various components, and burgers being the kind of commodity that they can be, usually the wrapping paper, the bags of different things, the managers are saying, okay, there's 2 cents for that, 3 cents for that. So they are controlling costs so that some margins are maintained. Well, I said, Don, we need to do something that is so out of the box, so beyond any level of expectation that people will go, what the heck are they doing? Who are these people? Yeah. Are they out of their minds? And if they are, I want to go to their place and sample it for myself. And so what happened was I looked at this. I said, okay, we're going to come up with we're going to bring together these two worlds of trains and burgers, these two sort of American classics. Okay. And so
I'm with you. So far.
Okay. So we created this campaign. It was a whole launch. So what happened was this here. This was the graphic that we hand-selected a list, a mailing list. This went out and paralleled with an actual print campaign. This is what they got, with no explanation. They're like, what is that?
How about I'm going to, shall I hold this? No? Oh,
so here's what we'll do. So this is so they see this enormous, large, retro burger, cheeseburger. And then when you open it up.
It looks very good, by the way.
That's what you hear. And of course, chew. Oh. And what was great was when I showed this to the owner, he was like, it's been in front of us all this time. And so people opened this up, and what happened was, we found out that for every one of these that went out, it's impossible if you get this to not say, Lori, you've got to listen to this.
Yes.
You're not going to believe this.
Yes.
And so that's what people did. We found out that on the average, between 8 to 10 other people were shown for each recipient that got this. So that was the first thing.
What an incredible return on investment.
Oh,
I mean, just
unbelievable.
for me to really consider that for each one of these that went out, it created this buzz, word of mouth, with at least 8 or 10 other consumers.
Totally.
That is fantastic.
Totally. And now the thing is, if we just did that and nothing more, it would have been like, oh, okay. So then the following week, this was 4 weeks in a row. The second week, we actually sent this out. This is what people had. So they got this. This is the Bridge Street Station GPS escort for burger lovers. So the whole idea is you got this and you're like, what is this thing? And so the people would get this. They would open it up, and we told them, and here I'll even read this to you because this is part of the whole concept. It's part of creating the thing. It says he points. He does splits. He's got more stamina than a locomotive and never loses steam. Simply hang him by your rearview mirror over your GPS, and voila! He auto activates, never needs refueling, and never needs gas. And so what happened was literally you take him out, and by the way, and parents with their kids went ballistic.
This is
terrific. And this is Don. This is the actual owner.
This is the entrepreneur.
Yeah, we made him like that. And so this was the thing, and kids just were like, oh my God, da, 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 da. And we even made him do the YMCA dance. We did all kinds of stuff. So so this was just an example, and all I can tell you is the place was like the opening of an Apple store. The line went into the street.
Oh Oh, how wonderful.
I went there in grand opening because I was curious. I wanted to say, well, what's the result of this?
Yeah.
The line went into the street. People were walking up and seeing that there were like 20 people out that had gone through the middle of the store into the street, and then they ended up, and people were like, I guess we'll come back tomorrow or the next day. It was just created that much of a buzz. It was unstoppable. The place was absolutely ballistic.
That is incredible.
Yeah.